This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Before we go any further, if my voice sounds a little bit croaky and I sound a little bit stuffed up today, it's not because I've got any kind of dreaded lurgy. It's basically the fact that it seems seemingly today you can walk around with your mouth open and chew lumps of pollen out of the air. It's thick with it and I'm suffering a little bit, so bear with me. Anyway, what you just heard there was me having a little bit of a noodle over the top of the backing track I've been using for the blues rhythm guitar series that we've been doing of late. And the sound I was using was a patch that I created in the Spark app for the Spark amp. That was basically what I was plugged into. And I thought today's video, well, the point of it is that I'm going to show you how I created that sound. Now, you might be thinking, oh, well, I don't have a Spark amp, so this video isn't for me. This isn't just some special skill that I've learned about setting up the Spark amp. This is how I've been dialing amps in for years, for decades. There's a methodology that I use about which controls I tweak and in what order and how I get it all dialed in and kind of set it up. And it doesn't matter whether I'm doing it on the touch screen of an Android app or whether I'm kind of sat in front of a big old kind of valve amp and dialing in, the kind of old school technology. It works the same way. So hopefully you'll find something useful here. So let's have a look at how I dialed in the tone. Okay, then by the time you're watching this, I'll have done some editing and you'll be seeing the screen of my tablet over there somewhere. And you'll be able to see what I'm doing in terms of the sounds and tweaks that I'm making. So I've got the JM45 model dialed in here, and I'm going, as you can see by the name of the preset that I've got sort of already chosen there, it's going to be a blues sound we're going for here. Basically, I'm thinking something along the lines of the Beano album amp tone. I'm not going to try and reproduce that because, that's a bit of a rabbit hole to go down, frankly. But that's just the reference that I've got that I'm going to try and, kind of get somewhere close to. So, all of the controls on the amp are, as you can see, at roughly 12 o'clock, apart from the volume, the master volume, which is at maximum because it's a Marshall, and they like that kind of thing. So, the first control I'm going to do, I'll just mention as well that I've got nothing else on here. I've got no other effects on at all. I always like to get the basic amp core tone dialed in first before I start adding any other effects because, well, frankly, you've got to bake the cake before you ice it, haven't you? So The first control I'm going to mess with is the mid-range control, but before we do that I'm just going to mute this microphone so you can hear basically the recorded amp sound that I'm getting on the other computer there, so it's not getting adulterated by what you hear down the mic. So mute the mic. Now already that's characteristically martially to my ears, which, you know, is no surprise given the amp model I'm using. But it's just a little bit too gainy for me, and there's a few other tweaks. Gain isn't going to be the first thing I mess with though. The first thing I do on any amp when I'm getting it dialed in is set the mid-range control, because that is where the bulk of your guitar sound lives, in the mid-range. And what I'm listening for here is I'm just going to play a few kind of thrangy open chords, things, big chords that have got like lots of sustain in them and everything, and I'm just going to mess with a mid-range control. And what I'm looking for is sort of a very subtle version of that cocked wah-wah kind of sound, you know, where at that moment when it goes from on a wah-wah pedal, it goes from the w to the ah, that point there, that's what I'm going to try and find with a mid-range control, and that's basically usually the sweet spot I find for getting the best tone out of an amp, and it'll be different from guitar to guitar. So let's mute the microphone and have a mess around with the mids. Did you hear that there? Just as I was kind of increasing that mid-range control, there was just a moment where it went, where it just seemed to be like opening the mouth. I'll do it again. Hopefully you'll kind of hear it. Yeah, it seems to be kicking in about 2.5. It's not like an exact science. Sometimes it's kind of that there is a bandwidth there that is where it's happening, and for me it just seems to be about right there. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the bass and treble alone for the moment, and I'm going to start having a mess around with the gain. What I'm looking for here is a sort of edge of breakup sound where, you know, if I pick quietly, it comes out as, you know, pretty much clean, and then if I dig in, it's still got a bit of fur around the edges. So let's see where the gain control needs to be for that. Job done, I think, as far as the gain control is concerned. Does it need any more bass and treble? It could probably do with a little bit more top end, just to bring out that kind of top end sparkle a little bit. So let's dial that in. Yeah, I think that's about there, and perhaps, I don't know, maybe, I think I'll leave the bass alone for the moment. I think I'm pretty good with that as a core sound. You do have to get to a point where you think, okay, stop fiddling with it, it's there. Looking at the other effects that are on there, I mean, noise gate, don't really think I need to bother with that at the moment. I'm not hearing any noise coming out of the amp at the moment, and looking over at the computer I'm recording onto, I'm not seeing any noise on the waveform, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Compression, drive, no, not going to bother with those. As I said earlier, you know, this is the tone I'm sort of referencing here is the sort of Clapton-y Beano album kind of sound. So I don't think we need to worry about modulation effects there, really. You know, chorus pedals and flanges weren't a big part of that particular sound. So it's just all down to the delay and reverb now. I've got, this is one of my favourite delays, and as you can see from the settings, it is a simulation of a tape echo, and I like it on a very, very, very short, kind of subtle kind of sort of feel. Let me just mute the mic and give you a bit of a rundown. So we've got, I'll do it without then with. Do you hear how that's just kind of thickening up the sound? It's just giving it a little bit more dimension. You know, it's not a sound that you know, that you would think, oh, that's an echoey kind of sound. It's just got a little bit more three-dimension to it. And that's essentially what I want to do with the reverb as well. So let's go to the reverb. This is one of my favourite reverbs in the Spark app. It just seems to be the one that I can get dialed in pretty close the way I want it pretty quickly. So let's just mute the mic and see what kind of a difference this makes. Yeah, that's pretty much there. As you can see, you know, everything is within pretty close spitting distance of being at 12 o'clock, and this is just the setting I tend to use on other presets that I've got dialed in on the Spark amp. And you know, I think, let me just have a little bit more of a fiddle around, but I think this might be the preset done, really. Let's just let me just have another little play. Yeah, I think that's about there. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this as essentially preset 4 on the amp and just overwrite the existing one. And that is the tone saved. And that is the tone that you heard me using in the solo at the start of the video, which I'm now going to go away and record now so it can go at the front of the video. And as always, the solo that you heard at the beginning of the video, there's a full tab for that in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with the backing track and the clip of me playing the solo. And I'll also put that dialing in the tone explanation clip up there as well. Where is it all? I hear you ask. Well, you know where. It's up on my Patreon page. There's the address and the link is in the description. It's only $3 or £2.50 a month, and you get access to all of these additional resources that go along with these YouTube videos. A massive heartfelt thank you to everybody who supports me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are linked down below. And that is pretty much it for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the video, found it useful in some small way, and if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so, and why not give me a like while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream every Friday 5 PM UK time, where we drink beer and talk music and guitars for an hour or thereabouts. What a fantastic way to kick off the weekend. I'd love to see you there if you can make it, but for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.